got to do some cutting of some vinyl. However, yeah, the dreaded however. Haven't used it in a while. So I'm hoping that I don't have to go through a whole realignment. I'm a hoping. Because that could be a pain in the butt. One of the clubs got a hold of me and asked me if I can do a couple of numbers for him. Alright, so we have something here. Now, here's some of the problems that you end up with. The paper feed may want to start feeding too fast or too slow. The cutting blade may not pick up quite enough. Or if this paper is not tight enough, when it comes up to go to another location, if this paper isn't down tight enough and doesn't stay down, which also has a lot to do with the feed, when the blade moves, it'll put a small cut in the paper, which you don't want, because sometimes it'll cut across a letter, a number, or something like that. Alright, so now let's do a reset here. Okay. And let's try and see what happens. Let's hit send. How it shoots across. I think there's a small line, however, I don't think it'll interfere with anything that I'm working with. Let's take some of this, and let's get this. Now that seems to have gone pretty smoothly. There is a line going from here to here, but it's picked up in time. And there's a little line right here, but that's not going to do anything. So I think we're going to be okay with this. Now, sometimes I'll cut two, especially if I know I'm having a little problem with the machine, because it may be able to salvage one of one and another part of the other one. But in this case, didn't do that. Well, I did actually, but the other one is kind of not salvageable. So let me cut around this for a second. Someday I got to make this a little bigger. But I'm not doing this enough anymore. I mean, I'm not in the business anymore. I don't want to do it. I do it like this to help out, you know, the clubs and things when they need it, but for the most part, I don't do this. I should have put that up further. Alright, so we got to see a good 3 and a good 14. Now, I normally don't do it this way all at once, but we'll see what happens. They're pretty well straight once I get past the 3. Okay. Now let's get that center out of there. Now there's my pick. We can use that instead. It makes it easier. I don't have to worry about cutting anything. There. Okay. Now these all look pretty good. This one here is a little off right there, but so we cheat a little bit. Not all that bad. Okay. Now I need to get, I really don't want to use that. Do I have a smaller piece? I got a 30-inch roll down here. This is a transfer paper. I think I mentioned that to you once before. Now this is kind of a pain in the ass to put on unless you have the proper tool or the table for it. There. When I had the shop, yeah, you know the shop. Well, even when I was here with it, there. What I had was it was an interior door, a hollow core, you know, nice finish off inside type door. And I had the laminator on one side because when it came through, you wanted to make sure it was being fed right, you know, being flat when it's being fed, and when it comes out, you want to be able to do what I'm doing here. So, but that was with a laminator, which is totally different. With this, I used to have the roll on a bar with tension on it. So it was always nice and stiff for me, and I was able to pull it out and then place it in while I was rubbing it out. So you didn't have to worry about screwing up with that, because if you don't lay this down right, it gets wrinkles, and then it's a pain in the ass to try to get it onto whatever it is you're putting it on. Really. Alright, so let me... Yeah. Alright, now here's what I'm thinking about doing. Because I don't know the condition. What condition the condition is in of the PVC board. So I was thinking of I don't know if they'd be able to do it. I have some DOT certified white reflective vinyl. I think I still have some. So what I was going to do is put these black letters on that. Let's see what kind of shape it's in. See, what happens is with this stuff, depending on the conditions, the weather, the warmer it is, the better it is. You don't want it real hot, but warm. Because it'll start to chip when you're doing it. So you want to make sure that this is, like sitting in the sun for a while or something before you start. I don't know if this is big enough. Let's see if this will be enough. This stuff is a little on the expensive side. Yes, it is. And it looks like we may be okay here. Don't it? Doesn't it? Yeah. And I think we'll be okay here. Now, hold on a minute. Hey, you know what? I've done things over and over and over before, so what the hell's another time? Yeah, I got my drift. I think I'm going to move this one up, however, once I get this done. I'm not going to use that, because I don't want to cut through. got much of this left. What do I got here? That's it. I got maybe a foot by 24. Or is that 30? I think that's 24. Okay, let's put this up here. Try to catch it and make it a little bit easier to work with. Now let's turn it around so it's closer to me. There we go. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, what are you going to do, you say? I'm going to transfer this to this. Man. And then I'm going to put a piece of transfer paper over the whole thing once this is transferred to there. And then, hopefully, all they'll have to do is peel the transfer paper off, and it'll be okay. Because when you take off the transfer, well, you'll see what I mean in a minute here. I just want to make sure I have an idea, and I'm not going to do all this at one time. We're going to cut this. Now, for you pros out there that are watching, I don't want to hear it. I just don't want to hear it. Now, where's my pencil? My pencil. Oh, let me get my tape measure too. Oh. Or did I have it in here already? What did I do with my tape measure? I know. I think I know. I think it is. Alright. Actually, I didn't even need this. Where is... Oh, there it is. I have one. I keep forgetting about it. It's a nice piece. I'll show it to you. It's there. I should be using it for everything, but I don't. I forget about it. Alright, so let's find a pencil now. Pencil may not stay on this or work on this. Okay, let's see what we have. So if we go from this, what do we have? We got 12, 17. So if I throw that on the floor, and baby can go through that. Okay. So if I put this here, they don't have to cover the whole 12 by 12. As long as they can cover most of it, that's basically what I'm looking to accomplish here. Yeah, you know what? I think this is going to be just fine. So, what I'm going to do, what are you going to do, you say? I'm going to put a little mark, let's do it on this side. A mark here on the vinyl, on the transfer paper, and a little mark on the vinyl. So I know that I want to line those marks up to keep this thing where it needs to be. Hey, you got that? Now see with transfer paper, you just peel it off. Da-da-da. And you put it on. Da-da-da. Get all the air out of it. While you can. If there's any other air, you can get it out. If it's on the paper, one thing, but if it's on the letter or the number, that's another thing. Where's my little poker? Where'd my poker go? There it is. Now I have a little bubble right there, so let me just put a little hole. And there it comes right out. Just a little hole. Alright, now when I take this off, we got to be careful because the letter is supposed to stay, or the number in this case. So you want to kind of keep it flat down, pull back on it. You don't want to pull up on it. Because if you pull up on it, you may end up ripping it off. And then give yourself a little extra. Protection by holding down the edges as you go along. It's a little tough when you're working with this reflective material because it works different. It's just a little bit more time consuming. There. Okay, now we don't want to give in the trash. We don't want to use the hard plastic on this, so we're going to use the felt. Now there are a few little bubbles in there. We're going to let it sit though, because it may come out over the next day. And I'm not bringing this up to them until probably Monday. If they want to come down and get it, that's fine. But if they want me to bring it to them, it'll be Monday. There's a little one. It's a little bigger than I'd like it to be. There we go. Okay, so that takes care of that one. Now we're going to do the same thing with this one. I need enough room to straighten out the edges. So we only need to make one mark. And again, I don't care about this because I'm going to be cutting a lot of it anyway. So let's well, hold on a minute. Let's try to get this as straight as we can on here. So let's go there to the 1 to the 4. Three, 1, 4. Okay. Come on, come on, come on, touch me, baby. Can't you see? Right there. Whoop, right there, and there. Okay. Now this is a twofold problem. You want to make sure that when you do this, you rub it down enough to make sure that the numbers or whatever it is you're putting down is going to stick to where you put it, which is on here. But the other side of the thing here is the story, is that the more I do this here, the more it's going to want to stick. This is going to want to stick to the number. So it's like a catch-22. Now let's see what we come up with here. Okay, again, I'm pulling down and back, so it's actually rubbing against itself when I do this. And you don't want to take off big bites. That's why I'm rocking it back and forth. Now I'm still holding it down, but I got it up here so I can pull on it. Did I say I'm pulling on it? Whoa, you pigs. Okay, I want to try to get all this off the 1 before I start on the 4. Or at least close. But I should be able to do it. There we go. Now this can be a pain in the ass if you're using like 1/2-inch letters. Oh, what a pain in the ass. First you got to pick them all. So close. Don't rush it. Stay the same. Don't say, I'm almost there, and rip it off, because there you're going to destroy everything you just did. Yeah. Yeah, if you're doing small letters or really detailed stuff, it's a pain in the ass, because you have to, like between the O, the small A's, you know, anything that has that little space in the middle, you got to pick all that out after you pull it all off. And meanwhile, you're trying to take everything off without pulling off the small letters, like I just did here. What a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass, it really is.